Our next story comes from the smallest country in the world, the Vatican. Pope Francis is currently hospitalized. He's suffering from double pneumonia. Since the hospitalization, his health has deteriorated drastically. Even the Pope thinks that he may not make it. So he's mulling a drastic move, a resignation. Although he won't be the first pontiff to do this, the first one to resign. But who will replace him? That is the big question. Meanwhile, the Vatican is already preparing for the worst-case scenario. There are rehearsals underway for a papal funeral. Our next report brings you all the details.
This is the world's smallest army, the Vatican Swiss Guards. They have one sole mission: to protect the Pope. But this week, these guards are secretly rehearsing for something else: a funeral. Pope Francis is in the hospital. The pontiff is 88 years old. He was suffering from bronchitis. Since then, he's developed pneumonia. He also has a respiratory infection, so the Vatican is worried. Reports suggest the Swiss Guard is rehearsing and preparing for a papal funeral. Why? Because even the Pope thinks he may not make it, that he will not survive this hospital visit. So clearly, the Vatican is preparing for the worst-case scenario. However, that hasn't stopped their work. Business goes on as usual, and for now, the Pope is taking decisions and calls. But he's also floated another idea: resignation. He could quit if he is impaired. Now, this wouldn't be a first. Popes have resigned in the past. In recent centuries, only one pontiff has done it. It is Pope Benedict XVI. He stepped down in 2013 due to concerns about his health. He was the first Holy See to resign in 600 years. It paved the way for Pope Francis's election. Pope Francis, in fact, already wrote a resignation letter. It was in 2013, shortly after he was chosen. He was worried about his health then. His concerns remain the same. Now a pope has to resign via a letter. It's submitted to the College of Cardinals. However, there's no need for approvals. Under the canon law, it should be done by free will. If they fear any fraud, the resignation can be rejected. Which brings us to the process of selecting a new pope. It's done in a private gathering at the Vatican called the Conclave. Technically, any Roman Catholic male can be elected pope. But who elects this pope? It's the College of Cardinals. When a new pope has to be selected, every cardinal under the age of 80 travels to Rome. Once they are in the Vatican, the process starts. The voting happens at the Sistine Chapel. Each of them is given a ballot. They must write the name of the candidate they want to choose. However, they can't elect themselves. If a cardinal receives over 2/3 of the vote, he becomes the pope. If no one gets the vote, it continues for days until and unless a new pope is chosen. Now, the process itself is very secretive. Voting happens behind closed doors. The cardinals can't talk to anyone but themselves. There are no phones or cameras. No one is allowed inside the Sistine Chapel. But once a vote is done, ballots are burned with a chemical. If the smoke coming out is white, a new pope is chosen. If the smoke is black, that means no decision has been reached and the voting continues. The smoke is for the world to remain updated with the proceedings behind the closed doors. So as the Vatican prepares for every possibility, a recovery, a resignation or a final farewell, one thing is certain. Whether in life or in death, the legacy of Pope Francis will be written soon, and the future of the Church may be about to change.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogon, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically, in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Lohon, this is your chance to be famous. You're on first post. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs, and that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek, creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model, and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.